The avalanche came fast, like a monster. The snow roared, louder than thunder. On a quiet trail high in the frozen mountains, a woman named Heron didn't even have time to scream. One moment she was riding her horse along a narrow path. The next, the whole world shook. Boom boom crash. White snow, sharp ice, and rocks came down like a wave. It swallowed her horse first. The scream of the animal pierced the air and vanished. Heron felt herself falling, tossed like a leaf in the storm. Her hands reached out but found nothing. She hit something hard, and everything turned black. There was no time, no warning, only cold. When Heron opened her eyes, she was buried. In silence, ice scraped her face. Her legs were trapped under frozen rocks. Pain stabbed her ribs. One hand was free. She placed it gently on her round belly. 7 months pregnant. The baby kicked weakly inside her, as if sensing danger. "Here," she whispered with dry lips. "We're alive." But the cold was eating her. Her fur cloak was torn. Her gloves were gone. Even her breath hurt, like breathing needles. Snow pressed around her, forming a tight cave. A small air pocket let her breathe, but not for long. She was alone, frozen, weak, afraid. She tried to stay calm for the baby. She hummed a lullaby her grandmother used to sing. It cracked in the air, broken by fear. "It's okay, little one. Mama's here. Don't be scared." Time passed. Maybe minutes, maybe hours. Her fingers grew numb. Her eyes closed again. Then the ice trembled. At first she thought it was another avalanche. But this sound was different. Not crashing, heavy and deep, like something giant walking. The snow above shook. Cracks formed in the ice walls around her. Boom, boom, boom. A low growl rolled through the cave. It wasn't human. It wasn't an animal she had ever heard. It felt ancient, old as the mountain. Her heart beat faster. Fear mixed with strange hope. Then a flash of red light burst through the ice wall ahead of her. She gasped. The ice didn't break, it melted. A line of glowing fire cut through the frozen prison, and behind it, an eye appeared. Not human. Golden, slitted like a cat's, but much larger. The size of her head. The ice exploded outward. Hot steam rushed in. Shards of blue and white flew in all directions. Heron covered her face with her arm. When she looked again, she couldn't believe what she saw. A dragon. Huge. Red and gold. Its body shimmered like burning metal. Steam came from its nostrils. It crouched over the cave. Massive wings folded behind it. The heat from its body warmed the air. The snow began to melt all around her. She couldn't even scream. She only stared, frozen in fear. The dragon looked at her. Its golden eyes locked on hers. She waited for fire, for death. But instead, it lowered its head gently. Its breath melted the ice near her feet. The warmth made her cry. She didn't know why, but she felt no danger. Only power, and something strange. Kindness. Then she heard a voice, not with her ears, but inside her head. "You carry life. I will not let you die." Her lips trembled. "Why?" The dragon blinked slowly. Steam curled from its jaws. "Long ago, a woman like you saved me from death. Now I return that debt." She couldn't believe it. Was she dreaming? Frozen, and imagining this. The dragon lifted a single claw. It was hot enough to melt the snow into mist. Slowly, gently, the claw touched the ice wall beside her. It didn't crush it, sliced with care. A few more cuts, and she was free. Her legs were weak, but she could move. The dragon lowered its wing like a ramp. She hesitated, but the cold wind returned, and the pain in her ribs reminded her she would die here. She grabbed onto the dragon's wing, pulling herself up. The scales were rough, but warm. She climbed slowly, holding her belly with one hand. The baby kicked again, stronger now. She was still alive. Once she reached the top, the dragon curled its wing round her like a seat. Then it rose. One great push of its legs, and they were in the sky. The wind howled. Clouds rushed by, but the dragon's body was warm like a fire. Heron lay against its chest, hearing its giant heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. It was calm, strong, alive. She didn't know where they were flying. She didn't care. After some time, the dragon dived down into a hidden valley between mountains. Steam rose from hot springs. Moss grew along the edges of warm pools. No snow, no storm, just heat and green. The dragon landed softly and lowered her onto the ground. Her knees gave out. She collapsed onto soft, warm earth. Her baby kicked again. A small cry escaped her lips, not of pain, but of relief. The dragon curled around her like a shield. She looked up. "Thank you," she whispered. The dragon watched her in silence, then spoke again. "Mind to mind. Your child will be strong. I can feel it." "Do you have a name?" she asked. A pause. "Once, I was called Horian." She blinked. "You saved me." "Why?" The dragon closed his eyes. "Because I remember kindness." He opened them again. "Many winters ago, I was hunted, bleeding, dying. A woman found me. She fed me. She hid me." His long tail stirred the grass. "You smell like her blood." He smelled like her blood. Hirin's breath caught. Her grandmother. She used to tell wild stories about a baby dragon she saved once, many years ago. No one believed her. They laughed. But Hirin always listened. "You mean in my grandmother?" she whispered. The dragon looked at her. "She gave me She sang to me while I healed. I never forgot." Hirin's heart swelled. Her eyes filled with tears. "I believe you," she said. For the first time, the dragon smiled. Not with lips, but with his eyes. The valley was quiet now. Warm, safe, and above them, the snowstorm passed living. Only blue sky and the sound of healing breath. 3 weeks passed in the hidden valley. Each day, the sun warmed the moss-covered ground. Steam rose from the hot springs. Birds sang, and strange glowing insects flew at night. The cold world above seemed far away, like a bad dream. Hirin rested, under the protection of the dragon Horian. He watched over her in silence. When the mountain wolves came sniffing, they turned and fled at the sound of his breath. When the wind carried snow down the cliffs, he spread his wing and covered her like a roof. When she cried from the pain in her ribs, he warmed the rocks, so she could sleep beside them. She healed slowly, and during those days, they spoke, not with voices, but with thoughts and feelings. Hirin told him stories about her village, the market, the music, and the baby in her belly. And Horian listened sometimes. He would answer with memories of his own, of deep mountain caves, of human hunters with burning arrows, and of a girl long ago who gave him fireberries in a basket. "She was small," he said, "but her heart was bigger than mountains." "She was my grandmother," Hirin said. "She always told us stories." No one believed her. "She believed in me," Horian replied. "And now I believe in you." One night, while the stars shimmered above and the steam rose like ghosts from the springs, Hirin sat beside his great body and asked quietly, "Will I ever see you again after I leave?" The dragon didn't answer right away. His long tail moved slowly over the moss, carving soft lines like waves. Then he said, "Your child will call one day, and I will come." Hirin didn't fully understand what he meant, but the words stayed in her heart. Soon, a rescue party arrived. They had searched for weeks. The storm had destroyed trails, buried paths, and broken signals. But a bright flare had been spotted from the cliffs, a red light, rising into the sky. It was Horian, who had lit the fire. His breath had carved a flame that reached the clouds. When the rescuers found her, they were shocked. Hirin was alive, warm, healthy, even laughing. They carried her down the mountain. She turned once, and far above, she saw the shape of a red dragon flying into the fog. She told them everything. They didn't believe her. They said the cold must have confused her mind, that a flying creature that size would be impossible. But Hirin didn't care, because her baby girl was born a few weeks later, and she was perfect. Her name was Sodashmi. She had bright red eyes, not scary, but calm and deep. Her skin was warm to the touch, even in the cold. She hardly ever cried. When she did, the sound was soft like the wind in a cave. As Somi grew, strange things began to happen. She would stare at the sky for hours, smiling. She dreamed of flying through clouds. She spoke of talking to the stars. At 5, she drew pictures of a red dragon curled around a woman. At 7, she said, "Mama, I saw him again. The fire dragon." Hirin nodded. "I believe you." But others didn't. Single quotes. The village children laughed at her, called her names, said she was cursed. The teachers sent notes home. "Somi talks to things that aren't there. She tells lies." Somi grew quiet. She stopped sharing dreams. But every night, she would lie in bed and whisper to the sky, "I know you're still out there." And in the deep mountains, the wind would change. Something would stir beneath the ice. Years passed. One winter, when Somi was 17, another storm came. It wasn't normal. It started with snow, but then came fire. Lightning struck the forest. Trees burned. The sky turned red. So Dashmi had been helping deliver supplies to children, trapped in a school shelter up the ridge. She was smart, brave, just like her mother. But the fire moved fast. Soon, she and 5 children were stuck in a small cave, with no way out. Smoke filled the air. Snow melted around them. Flames lit the trees like torches. The air was choking. The children screamed. Somi didn't know what to do. She dropped to her knees, placed her hands on the ground, and cried out, not with her mouth, but with her heart, "Please, I need you. We need you." The earth rumbled. The children stopped crying. Boom, boom, boom. A roar echoed through the mountains. Not wind, not fire, a sound older than time. The sky tore open, and through it flew a red shadow. Wings spread wide, eyes glowing gold. HORYN. He dove through the smoke like a falling star. The flames bent around him. Trees fell. Rocks cracked. He landed in front of the cave, between the fire and the children. They stared in silence. So Dashmi stepped forward. She looked up into the eyes of the same dragon her mother had described all her life. He looked at her, and spoke into her mind. "I felt your cry. You are her child." Somi ran into his warm side, and pressed a hand to his scales. The fire couldn't reach them. The dragon's body glowed with heat and power. He opened his wings and wrapped them around the cave entrance. The fire died out like a candle in rain dust. Then he lifted them onto his back, one by one. The children clung to each other. Somi helped them sit, and the dragon flew. People saw it. This time, everyone saw it. Phones recorded the flight. News spread fast. Flying creature over the firestorm. Dragon in Korea. Miracle rescue girl. Saves trapped children. But the government said nothing. The officials denied it. The footage was called fake. Still, people remembered. HAE-RIN. Saw the video on her small home TV. Her hands shook. She didn't speak, only smiled. So Dashmi came home days later. She had burns on her boots, and ash in her hair. But her face glowed. Horian had dropped them at a safe place, far from the fire, then vanished into the mountains once more. Now, the world knew something had changed. Not everyone believed, but the truth had escaped. Somi never stopped talking about him. She wrote books, gave talks, told people to respect the land, the animals, and the old stories. She wore a necklace with a tiny red stone of fireberry, carved into the shape of a wing. Years passed. She had a child of her own, a little boy with bright golden eyes and dreams of flying. One night, she took him outside under the stars. "Mom," he asked, "is the dragon real?" Somi smiled. "He's more real than anything." The boy looked up. "Do you think he'll come if I call?" She nodded. "He always keeps his promises." And in the sky above them, far beyond the clouds, something red moved like a shadow. A warm wind blew down the mountains. A heartbeat echoed across the earth.